Okay, here's a quick review of the Industrial Revolution for your studying. Before the Industrial Revolution, people had to do all the work themselves with the help of animals. It was very inefficient. People lived more in rural areas than cities. A lot of people did farming. A lot of people who couldn't own their own farms had to work on other people's farm for little pay at all. Things were made by hand in the household, and people produced what they needed to produce themselves, and it was slow and inefficient, and people didn't have a lot of nice things. The Industrial Revolution is when people decided to use machines to help them make things for the first time. It started in Britain and spread to America pretty quickly. Samuel Slater is one of the first people to really spread it to America, where he memorized the textile factory and brought it here in his mind. A textile factory is a clothing or cloth item factory, where the industrialization began. These early factories were powered by water power. A water wheel in a stream or river would turning the machines on the inside. And then from there, they will progress to steam power and coal burning power from there. Textiles or cloth-made items were the first items to be industrialized, producing lots of new clothing for people for the first time. Key advances during the Industrial Revolution were the watering loom and the spinning jenny, which produced more and more clothing. Interchangeable parts, which was invented by Eli Whitney, allowed people to produce massive amounts of identical parts that were replaceable and easy to assemble. Mass production is when you assemble larger items using interchangeable parts. An assembly line is a process of doing that, where each person or machine adds one part at a time, making things fast and efficiently, which is how we produce most things today. Eli Whitney's cotton gin was a simple machine that pulled the seeds out of cotton for the first time, making a very slow task fast, but the unintended consequence was that it really increased slavery in America as cotton became a very valuable resource. The Rhode Island system by Samuel Slater hired the whole family to work in the factory, while the Lowe system by Francis Cabot Lowe hired young women to work in the factories. Both of these systems were for making textiles. Advantages of the Industrial Revolution: it made prices of items going down so the everyday person could have more things, produced lots of jobs and different types of jobs. The jobs were difficult and hard and long hours at first, but over time it allowed families to move up economically and pursue the American dream. For the United States, it increased our economic power and our military power. One of the great things about the United States is that we're able to produce whatever we want quickly and well made, very well, which has helped us win World War I and World War II. Disadvantages: it creates lots of pollution. There was terrible child labor, as kids as young as 6 or 7 began working in the factories. Workers were abused with long hours and low pay and dangerous working conditions, which produced health problems. Over time, the workers pushed for reforms. Many of the young Low mill girls pushed for women's rights and for workers' reforms. Reformers like Mother Jones stood up for people's rights and children's rights. And over time, things got better and better. Unions were formed where workers doing the same job could band together to complain together. And one of the most powerful things that unions could do was just simply refuse to work, which is called a strike. The women's rights movement came out of the Low mill system, and over time, in over 100 years, women will gain more and more rights slowly but surely. The transportation revolution is another part of the Industrial Revolution. The increased speed of transportation gave people more freedom. At first it was steamboats, and then it went to trains, and then over time we'll go to the automobile and of course the airplane. But the beginnings of it gave people the option to carry more things with them and travel farther and faster than ever before. Inventions will make people's lives easier. John Deere invented the steel plow, which allowed people to farm in tougher soil conditions, increasing the amount of agriculture in America. The sewing machine allowed people to fix their clothes more quickly and efficiently. The icebox was a key invention because it allowed people to store their food for longer without it going bad. An icebox is not a refrigerator, it's basically a cooler type setup. The telegraph allowed people to have instant communication, invented by Samuel Morse. He invented Morse code. Through electrical impulses, people could communicate instantly over large different distances by wire for the first time. All these inventions made life better for people, but also made life more complex and added to pollution in America. But overall, the Industrial Revolution has greatly contributed to the success of America and to the world, and people living better lives today than ever before.